Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the January 19, 2016 meeting, and I'd recognize a motion to that effect.
So moved.
It's been moved. Or second? Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next order of business is to approve change order number 8 for Emerson Alternative School Renovation and Clinic, an increase of $46,116. Mr. Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you said, this is change order number 8 for Emerson Alternative. There are 5 items on here. There is a disconnect switch that needs to be added because it's a 480-volt service. There's some data cabinets that are being relocated at the school district's request. There's some additional sheetrock that needs to be added behind the backsplash in the kitchen. There's some wall revisions. If you recall, if you saw in the paper, there was additional chalkboards that were found up on the 3rd floor. They weren't quite as significant as the 2nd floor, but still they had some writings, and the school district wishes to try and keep those. And then there's also some time delays. It was based on the contractor being able to get into certain areas, and some of it also had to do with the, I believe, with the chalkboard or with the backsplash things. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? I'd recognize a motion for approval.
Move approval.
It's been moved. Or second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Thank you. We have 3 concurrence items dealing with obviously the independent school district number 89 and the gymnasiums relative to Hawthorne, Linwood, and Sequoia, North Highland and Ridgeview, and Edgemere, Green Pastures, Wilson, and Spencer. Are there any questions about these concurrence requests? Seeing none, I'd recognize a motion to approve all 3.
Move approval.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Mr. Clowers.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the Trust. Maps for Kids project, Emerson Alternative, which Mr. Todd described what's going on there, is the only Maps for Kids project under construction. Bids were received in December for the revisions to the John Rex Elementary Playground, and the bids are still under review. However, I think we're very close to bringing something back to the board on that. Cesar Chavez Elementary School Classrooms and Gyms project is in the design process, and we are negotiating with architects on 2 different projects: the admin building to be built at 615 North Classen, and then for renovations at FD Moon Elementary. And that brings us to I-89 2007 bond projects. We have completed and finally accepted 21 classroom and gym projects. Construction continues at Taft, and construction is ongoing for gyms at Nichols Hills, Heronville, Fillmore, Prairie Queen, Rockwood, and Eugene Field and Edwards Elementary Schools. And construction will begin this month for gyms at Britton, Parks, and Willowbrook. Construction contracts for gyms at Hawthorne, Sequoia, and Linwood, and North Highlands, Ridgeview were approved by the board yesterday and concurred by the trust today. And final plans and specs for gyms at Quail Creek, Cleveland, Shidler, Rancho Village, and Western Village Elementary are underway. A&E contract negotiations are underway as well for gyms at Green Pasture, Spencer, Edgemere, and Wilson Elementary Schools. The February 16 trust will be canceled due to lack of agenda items, so our next trust meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 1st at 3 p.m.
Any questions? Are there any comments by trustees, staff, citizens? Seeing none, thank you for being here. We're adjourned.